So this last Uplifting Interruption is actually a podcast reshare from last winter. I don't remember exactly when I launched it, but it is a list of tips and tricks and ways to hack your energy when you're feeling gray. Originally, it was to help us get through all those gray, blah winter days, which we are facing coming up soon. However, I really feel like a lot of these also touch base with uplifting our vibe when it feels gray inside. Plus, in the beginning, we talk about this notion of having this scale that we get to check in with ourselves between the white, fully lifted vibe and the more black, more deep, shadowy vibe. And a lot of times where there's a lot of different grays in the middle, and we talk about that a little bit in it. So I felt like this was the perfect finishing reshare to support uplifting our gray, mucky energy as we move into winter, as well as uplifting our energy when we feel gray and mucky inside. So check it out. Let me know of the two hacks that you find you want to implement into your life. Share them with a friend. If you'd enjoyed this journey through the uplifting interruption this week, then I encourage you to stay tuned on the podcast. Next week, we dive back into our unique divine chakra conversations with Danielle Graham. We're going to visit the brow chakra, as well as follow, share, subscribe, offer it to a friend. That helps to build awareness of what we're doing here on the podcast. And I'm truly grateful for every listen, every share, every comment. And I hope that this really helped you keep your energy in a higher vibrational state throughout the week. Take a listen. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And as always, know that your free will is your biggest superpower. Hey guys, I love that this podcast happens on a day today that is sunny. That is I love it. I feel like it's validation for all of these things. If you're watching the video, I've got light coming in from both windows. It is sunny. The sky is blue and there's beautiful white clouds. So this is a perfect day to record a meditation about how to push through this great energy that we've all been feeling. And it feels also on a personal level, it feels like a good day to record this because I have been generating these ideas over the past week about different ways to combat this gray blot energy that we all feel stuck in. But today, as I compiled them, it was like a perfect shift in a morning that I struggled. I was struggling with some executive function stuff, struggling with some blah, and just some of my own personal stuff that I'm working through. And compiling this list of things to combat the gray energy really helped remind me, hey, I get to implement these things. They're there for a reason. I get to embrace the tools that I have in my toolbox. Right along with you, as I'm sharing this with you, I'm doing the work as well. So we're here today to talk about combating some of the gray blot energy that we're feeling this winter. If you're in upstate New York or you're in any of the New England states, chances are you haven't had a whole lot of sun. And in general, a lot of times in winter, people feel a lot of gray blot energy. And it feels like it's a little bit more intense for some of us this year. And I wanted to share some notions and different things that I have experienced and that I have witnessed my clients experience that help them shift that energy to hopefully empower us from taking back that gray blonde energy and implementing some things to help us move into a more positive energy over time. I am not a healthcare or medical professional, so please seek a medical or professional for any of your mental or physical healthcare needs. I am a spiritual life coach, and I can offer and support you in energy work, meditation, intuitive guidance, and reflection of emotional situations. And I can give you tools and tricks on how to come to better support your energetic well-being over time.
So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And let me share with you a couple of notions of what you can do to combat this gray energy. So when these gray days come up and your energy feels blah, and you feel like you look outside and it's muddy and it's just cloudy again, and your happy meter is really low. If you think of, I'm going to make one of these and put it on my wall at the office because this is such a good visual. If you were to look at, like, stand at the gray section of the paint swatches at Lowe's or any of the places, any hardware store where you buy your paint, and you look at the gray section, there are so many different grays. And if you were to stand at the basic gray section and you were to look at the scale of gray, that gray there would be a scale of gray from the brightest white to the darkest black, but there are so many grays in between. So that's one of the things that we can do. That's what happens when we get to this time of year and we don't have the sun and we're feeling the winter blahs. We have these gray days. And when we implement some tools like this, if we visualize that gray scale, we've got the white and we've got the black. So we've got the light and we've got the shadow. And then we've got all these levels of gray, from the lightest gray to the darkest charcoal gray on this scale. One thing that we can do with that visual is to ask ourselves, where on this scale am I? Scan your body, scan your mind, and ask yourself, where on this gray scale am I? Am I closer to the lightness or am I closer to the darkness? And when you have a more aware idea of where you are on this gray scale, then you can be like, okay, I really have to implement some things to help get myself back up towards the lighter. So these are just some tips that we can implement within these winter gray months to help us hack that energy, to take us from that deeper, darker, shadowy energy into some more of this lighter energy, and to combat those gray blah emotions that we're feeling. Okay, so one of the first things that I'm going to advocate for, of course, is meditation. Meditation really can help to balance the mind, balance the body. We can do guided meditations to guide ourselves into the notion of being on a beach, or the notion of being outside, or the notion of allowing sunlight to wash over us. We can also do things like an inner light meditation. Beth Lynch is my mentor, and she is the creator of Inner Light Teachings, and she's the one that taught me the Inner Light Practitioner course and that Inner Light meditation. But we can visualize this light in our body. We can imagine it in our heart, we can imagine it in our mind, we can imagine it in our solar plexus, and we can imagine this light growing and washing through our body. The idea that we connect with an inner light when we're having a hard time connecting with that light exterior. So that's a meditation we can do. We can embrace a chakra balancing meditation, or we can embrace the positivity and light meditation. And I'm going to take a minute just to find the episode on Spotify. But a while back on my podcast, I did the Positivity and Light Challenge. Positivity and Light Challenge back in August. We started it in August, like August 8th of last year, and we did a Positivity and Light Challenge. This is a great meditation where we want to embrace energy first. We want to welcome more positivity into life, but we don't know what that looks like or feels like. Sit in this meditation, and it's a meditation that welcomes light into the palms of your hand and washes that up through your heart and through your body, welcoming that positive energy into your life. So I love that. One of the other things that I'm going to advocate for is energy work. I have seen energy work. I've seen clients come into my room and lay down on the Reiki bed, and we go through. I personally practice Reiki and inner light techniques, as well as guided meditation. But I have seen clients come in, and so many of them have said, I feel lighter, I feel more at peace, I feel more balanced. Energy work is not for everybody, but we have lots of ways we can try different methods with energy work and see how it works for you. But I'm going to advocate for energy work to help lift our energy through those gray days and through this time of year where we really struggle. The core base of so many of these energy work traditions, like Reiki or Inner Light, is that the core is that they to welcome positive healing energy into our body, into our mind, and support lifting our vibration. So I encourage you to set up a regular appointment for this energy work. If you know that you struggle in these months and you have regular appointments scheduled, then they're there to help maintain your energy through that time. Another hack to help us with these gray days is music. Upbeat music, our favorite songs, our favorite artist, dance music, oldies. Maybe it's like ZZ Top. This was not planned. I swear to God, I'm wearing my ZZ Top sweatshirt today and it was not planned. I love it. I didn't even think about that. Whatever music makes you move and gets you excited, that is a perfect vibe hack for these gray days. Last night, my daughter's in the living room playing with her dolls, and she's like, Mommy, can we play some ZZ Top? And she starts jamming out to ZZ Top in the middle of our living room. This 7-year-old little girl who's all about the pink, all about the purple, all about the ponytails and the dolls and the stuffed animals was vibing to ZZ Top. And if we just let ourselves be free to experience that more, we can hack that energy with that music that really resonates with us. But I also want to invite you to look up frequency meditative songs. So there's certain songs that resonate with our chakras in our system. They sit us at a certain hertz and they resonate with certain chakras in our system and they support that energy in lifting and balancing those chakras. So if you go onto Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you find your music and look up frequency meditative songs that resonate with your solar plexus, with your heart, and with your mind, that can really also go through and support your energy, a more positive energy on these gray days. Another tip, have coffee with a friend. It gets easy to stay in this time of year. It gets easy to just stay home and be in and not go out. And it's a little bit harder to get up, get going, and get out the door. So when we make a time and stick with it to visit with a friend, have coffee, it's good for heartfelt conversations, our healing. So it's good for our vibe to sit down with a friend, be honest, be authentic with who we are and what we are, and have a heartfelt conversation about life. There's real, true healing vibes that can happen in that. Also, maybe you have some friends or some family that you can reach out to and say, hey, I'm struggling right now. I'm feeling really blah. Can we meet up? I need this for my well-being. And you know what? I bet you when you start voicing that, A, you're going to feel empowered that you're taking control of your energy versus letting your energy take control of you. And B, they're going to say, you know what? I agree. I'm really kind of struggling too. Let's go get coffee or tea or whatever it is. As well as getting out of your space. We're in our homes quite a bit in the wintertime, and just taking that time to get out the door for an hour or two really helps to shift that energy. And when we come back, we have a fresh perspective, and it may even feel different energetically within our space. And I'm going to encourage you, before you leave the coffee shop and before you leave your friend, schedule your next visit with each other. Plan ahead equals planning for successful vibes within these months. If we know that we struggle through these months with this energy, planning ahead can help us plan for successful energy moving through the rest of these months. We're moving into February. March is often gray. 2 months. Let's plan ahead so that we can find our way to hack our vibe through these next few months. Our next hack for these gray days is finding a creative outlet. Finding a creative outlet does two things. It helps us feel empowered. We create something and it's like, I created this, I did this, this came from me. And it can really go a long way to help us with our solar plexus, our chakra, our empowerment center, and help us feel empowered and brighten that power energy center within our body. Also, it moves energy in our sacral chakra. When I was typing this up, it corrected sacral to scandal, not our scandal chakra, but sometimes some scandals hide there. Rant. Anyway, when we embrace a creative outlet, we can move energy in our sacral chakra. And our sacral chakra is our raw emotion center and our relationship center. So this can, we don't necessarily want energy to sit long term in our sacral chakra because it can create unrest and imbalance in us physically and emotionally. So these creative outlets help move that energy through our sacral chakra. It helps us maybe even process some of that emotional energy that we've been feeling and gives us a lift of that energy center, as well as it gives us something to focus on versus sitting in the chair, seeing the gray, feeling the blahs, getting stuck in that blah energy. When we have something to focus on, it can distract us from all of that. With that same notion of creativity, our next tip is redoing your spaces. Whether you're painting your spaces or whether you're pulling in some new pillows or new throw blankets or hanging up some pictures of some beautiful sunny outdoor spaces in your space, redo your space to help lift the vibration of your environment. Maybe you're redoing your lighting. Maybe you get a brighter light. Maybe you get one of those happy lights, those lights that you turn on that help to give you that feeling of that sunlight. Maybe you bring in a couple more of those. Redo your spaces to support a happier, more positive vibe as we move through these months. And I'm going to tip a hat to Danish or Scandinavian traditions because they have a tradition of hygge. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I didn't do the pronunciation. But the tradition of hygge, the Y-G-G-E, nope, H-Y-G-G-E, excuse me, to best help describe what this tradition is, I'm going to read an excerpt from visitdenmark.com. They had a whole article of hygge, and the hygge, I feel like I'm saying it wrong, and what it means. And I love this line for helping understand it. Hygge means creating a warm atmosphere and enjoying the good things in life with good people. The warm glow of candlelight is hygge. Cozying up with a loved one for a movie, that's hygge too. And there's nothing more hygge than sitting around with friends and family discussing the big and small things in life. There we go. There is probably the last three that we have talked about right there in that description. And I love that. So explore how you can embrace this tradition and implement it through your winter months and take some note from those traditions. Okay, so our next tip kind of leans in after this, our last one. Make a good meal. Spend some time in your kitchen doing what you enjoy, making a meal that you really are going to enjoy, that includes all the tastes that you like, but then also sit with family or friends to enjoy that meal. This goes a long way for helping our heart chakra and our root chakra feel connected and nourished, and that helps us on a soul level. Of course, exercise and yoga. Exercise and yoga helps move stale energy in the body and lifts those empowerment vibes. That is one that I am humbly acknowledging is my weak link in the past that I'm really going to work hard at creating space in my life to do more of moving forward. Okay. So our next step, get outside anyway. Take a few minutes to take 5 smooth, deep cleansing breaths outside in the fresh air. And bring that fresh air into your body, grounding your energy to the earth. You don't have to spend a long time out there. Get out there anyway. Take the dog outside, let them run around. You stand on the earth mindfully for a few moments and take those deep breaths. Also, one of our next tips is dive into your spiritual practice. Let go of the hustle of trying to figure it out on your own and dive into a higher awareness or a divine inspiration. Maybe that's prayer. Maybe that's ritual work. Maybe it's a card with journaling work. Whatever your spiritual practice, your unique divine expression in that space feels like, reach back in, pull those tools out, and allow space in your life for that. Another thing, get lost in a good book. Find a comfy, cozy location to grab a cup of coffee or tea and pull out a good book. If self-help feels too much, make it fun. Make it a story that you can get lost in. When our world feels gray, we can take a few minutes to get lost in a book. It helps to shift that energy. If there are other things that you enjoy in life, implement them, plan them. Maybe you make a list, much like I have here. Maybe you make a list of different things that you enjoy and you start planning them within your schedule. Maybe it's listening to a comedian or watching a comedy. Find something or someone that makes you laugh out loud. And then allow yourself to sit and enjoy it. Laughter is good medicine. And when you're moving through this gray time of year, find a professional to support you. You don't have to do this alone. You are not in this alone. Reach out to those professionals that you know of that will help your mental wellness and your energetic wellness and your physical wellness this time of year. Maybe you expand out and try a few professions, connect. Let me rephrase this. Maybe you expand out and connect with a few professionals in modalities that you wouldn't have tried before. But reach out to a professional. Keep looking for those who will help you. You aren't alone. Doctors, therapists, groups, life coaching, nutritionist, acupuncturist, massage therapist, physical therapy, whatever you have that you know that helps, that you have in your toolbox, reach out to them. They're there to support you. You don't have to do it alone. And it's not failing to reach out for support. I'm also going to add 2 numbers in here that I feel like it's important to put out there. If you are truly experiencing a crisis in your mental health or you are having mental health issues, there are 2 numbers that I found that you can call that could help you with this. So if you are struggling with suicidal thoughts or you're in a crisis situation, you can text or call 988. Again, you can text or call 988. You can also text home to 741-741 to connect with a volunteer crisis counselor. So those are 2 outlets that I wanted to make sure I left in this podcast that I found when I Googled to help with those that feel like they're really in a crisis point. The gray doesn't happen all at once. Before we get into that, again, I'm just going to say you're not alone, and you get to build these tools and you get to build support and find support to help you navigate through this. So in closing, the gray doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't affect us in one fell swoop most times. It's an energy that weighs on us day after day. We get to slowly start to shift that energy one choice at a time, one day at a time. And I'm not going to fool you. It's not a one and done with most of these items. You're not going to, for example, meditate once and bam, all the gray is gone. These are practices that you get to implement over time. Just like the gray doesn't happen at once, these practices get to be practiced day by day, choice by choice over time. These slow shifts do two things. They advocate for your energy and they help establish a routine. They are tools that you can carry in your toolbox to pull out and combat this gray blot energy. Do I think if you meditate today, it'll help you today? Yes. However, like we said, these are practices that you want to implement over time. So which of these do you find are your ones that resonated the most? Which ones are you ready to pull out? And do you have any other ones? There is, if you listen to this on Spotify, there is a poll that'll ask you about show notes. I would love to know which of these resonate with you most and other ones that you might have that I didn't put on this list. If you're not on Spotify, you're on YouTube, you want to share it in the comments on YouTube, or if you want to find me on social media, you can look up Unique Beauty and Meditation on Facebook and on Instagram, and you can share them there. Take a picture of your self-care, beating back the gray, tag Unique Beauty and Meditation in it, and let's see what you're doing. Thank you very much. Continue to celebrate your uniquely beautiful self, and your free will is your superpower. Taking the time to choose to try new things, offering yourself compassion and forgiveness for when things don't go right in life and for the feelings that you're having, and acknowledge when something's working so that we can continue to build that momentum in a positive direction. Thank you for taking the time to enjoy this podcast. I have a ton of great events that are happening that I would love to see you at. There's amazing opportunities for healing circles coming up in the near future. There is a healing circle in person at Health and Wellness in Penn Yan, where I work, and that one is going to be on February 12th at 6:30 at night, as well as I'm so excited. I am joining the Soul Sisters Sunday peeps that I have worked with in the past, and we are getting together on February 25th from 10 to 1, and we are going to have a healing circle to embrace unapologetic compassion for self, building that momentum to share it with the world. We're going to allow vulnerable, authentic compassion for ourselves, and we're going to allow that to be mirrored back to us and others. I look forward to seeing you there. If you want any of that information, let me know. I can get that to you. I'll also share some links in the description of this podcast. Celebrate yourself, and thanks for being here.